I've been working a lot with different districts who want to think about how they invite conversation about current events and things going on in the world that are high emotion topics. And so one of the things we want to do, particularly if you are in a place where your district or your school leaders don't want you as the teacher to disclose your own personal ideas, we reframe the prompt away from a binary this or this, where there's a position and then an anti-position. So here is one example. We're actually going to do a series of these shorts where we share one particular example each video. So here is the first. Narrow the scope, focus on policy. So this comes from two places. One is Diana Hess, who does a lot of this work around dialogue and discussion and discourse in high emotion content areas that relate to civics and social studies. So she talks a lot about how a policy conversation brings two good values that might compete. They're both valuable. We want them both, but we need to figure out how exactly we live both of them out. So we enable both positions or both people who would take particular positions to share kind of where they're coming from, what the value is, and we negotiate and try to come to consensus around how, like what is the policy that's going to help us live out that balance or that tension between competing good values. So Schmidt and Pinckney, who wrote an awesome book that I've talked about before on civil discourse, they give us a particular example, and I'll read that for you now. So they say, instead of what do we think about immigration, ask what should we do about unaccompanied minors at the border? So this idea, you might not even use this in your class, given your particular students. This might be way too high emotion at the moment, but think about how the difference between like, what do we think about immigration is like very broad, and people might be thinking about ICE and people might be feeling like a lot of emotions that are not going to lead to generative conversation and us seeking to understand. Whereas if we root something in a factual reality, like this thing is happening, we don't want it to happen, what do we do? And what are the values that inform that? We have a much more nuanced conversation that is grounded in reality and invites an opportunity to seek to understand and come to some civically imaginative ideas moving forward. I will link in the description to that book that I mentioned by Schmidt and Pinckney, which is great. But I'm gonna link to a freebie that I am going to create, hopefully before this posts, that will invite you to think of 4 different ways that you can actually reframe a discourse prompt to get away from that binary this or this.